There's something to be said when it comes to common sense, as common sense is unfortunately not so common for a number of people nowadays. But I'm going to talk about what Shannon Sharpe said on his Nightcap podcast in discussing a very sensitive and obviously also tragic situation where LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy was apparently involved or allegedly involved in an accident or having caused an accident, which resulted in the death of a 78-year-old man. But we will discuss this in this podcast. And I have some thoughts about it, but I'm going to play for you the video of Nightcap and what he said, and we will get into this. But before we begin, thank you so much for joining me on Rudy's Rant, Power Coming Out of the podcast, where we talk facts and our feelings. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez Showmont, and let's jump in. But again, if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, become a member. And if you are back again, I thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. But let's talk about this. Shannon Sharpe made some comments, and I'm going to play them for you.
Got some bad news. Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy is wanted for negligent homicide and a felony hit and run in a connection with a December 17th crash that killed one person and injured two others in Louisiana, according to state police. Lacy was allegedly illegally passing other vehicles at a high rate of speed by crossing the center lane and entered an oncoming lane in a no passing zone. A truck swerved to avoid colliding with Lacy. The vehicle and vehicles behind it collided head on with another vehicle going in the opposite direction. Following the crash, Lacy drove around the crash scene, fled south on Louisiana Highway 20 without stopping to render aid, call emergency services, or report the involvement in the crash, according to police documents.
Hey, man.
Ocho.
You can't.
Ocho. I know he know what happened to Ruggs. I know he know. He had to see that, Ocho. But I get it. Ocho, when you young, you never think anything like this. So I can't beat him up too bad because I've driven at a high rate of speed. Now, I wasn't, trying to pass on, but I'm just going, it's just, Ocho, you know how it is. Like, I'm on 95, and I'm coming from Daytona. I'm going back to Savannah. So it's just two lanes. And there's a median, there's a fence. So 2 lanes, me and the traffic going this way. But you know what I'm saying? There is no possibility of another car coming this way. I was wrong. Now, I don't want people to think that I'm trying to condone because I was traveling at 108 miles an hour. Dead wrong. Dead wrong. Got 2 tickets. Guy said I clocked you at 108 and the other guy clocked you at 92. So we got to write you 2 tickets. Does anybody here? Hey, they put me in the car, Ojo. They like, anybody here got driver's license that can drive the car? Let my one of the dudes that went to college with me, he drove the car. They took me to the police station. It's like a bond like $1,500. I broke that thing. You know what I mean? Ojo, I was counting money. They thought I had a money counter in my pocket. I've been peeling off the money. He's like, if you don't mind, what do you do? Hey, I can't tell y'all. Y'all gonna keep me here longer. Y'all might bring the dog to sniff the car. I can't tell you what I do, but you know I'm gonna get up out of here. But guys, you gotta just be careful. And Ocho, when you,
I gotta stop right here. Did Shannon Sharpe forget what the hell the topic was? Like, did he forget his own topic of his show here? This is my confusion watching this. What does he remember of his own topic? Kyren Lacy was not in the accident, but he was the person who was speeding at going at a high rate of speed in single lane traffic where one lane's going this way, one lane's going this way. And he passed and created an accident by probably someone behind him, maybe someone coming this direction who went into this, whatever it was. He was the reason that an accident happened because of his reckless driving and his speeding. And someone died. A 78-year-old man died. And here Shannon Sharpe is talking about when he was speeding on I-95 from Daytona Beach to Savannah, Georgia, and he's talking about it being a two-lane highway, blah, blah, blah. Well, number one, he's obviously comparing an apple to an orange because I-95 in Daytona Beach. I'm from Florida, people. I've driven 95 in Daytona Beach many, many times. It is two lanes going north. There is a median, a large median, not a guardrail, a large median, and two lanes coming south. And in some areas, there's three, and 3 or 4 and 4, but probably in that stretch just north of Daytona, it's two going north and two coming south. You going 108 miles an hour, going north, and you passing people, you are not creating an accident, a head-on collision, as this young man, Kyren Lacy, allegedly did, going north and south, or east and west. I don't know what the expressway is, but it's a one-lane situation, this way or this way, and this way or this way. And he was the reason, according to witnesses, that this accident occurred. And Shannon Sharpe is making a joke about it and saying how he went to jail and he was in the wrong and he's what the hell are you talking? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about, Shannon? This is. I'm not usually like this on topics, but this is utterly stupid. The fact that he's sitting here, I can't get on the man. I can't get on him. He's a grown fucking man, dude. I don't want to hear young and dumb. Young and dumb doesn't get you off of a negligent homicide. Now, I don't know the legality. I'm not a criminal attorney. I don't know what the legality is because he didn't actually have the accident. So I don't know how these charges can work and how they can stick. I don't know. I've read some comments you know, about it from other people who claim to be internet attorneys. I know lots of attorneys. I've not asked the question of any criminal defense lawyer that I know, and I should, because I don't know what the legality is. You didn't actually have the accident. I've been in an accident where someone else created it, and that person didn't get so much as a ticket. All right, that person didn't get so much as a ticket. So I'm a little confused on the legality. I don't know the legality. So which is why the whole hit and run situation, he didn't hit anybody. He didn't hit anybody. He wasn't hit and did not hit anybody. So I don't know the legality of that. But to make this a joke about how you I can't tell you who I am, but I'm gonna be out of here. Like what in the world has that got to do with the situations you got going on here? You chose to talk about a topic that's very, very serious. This young man declared for the NFL draft 2 days after this accident happened. Any normal human, any normal human would have stopped and done their best to render aid. Worst case scenario for this football player would have been you stop, you render aid, and you know what you have happen? You get a ticket. That's it. It's an accident. It's an accident. You weren't actually in it. I don't think they can charge you with negligent I'm not an expert. I don't think they can charge you with negligent homicide. They definitely can't charge you a hit and run if you don't run, if you don't leave the scene. So I don't know. I don't know, but I know that Shannon Sharpe's response to this is utterly embarrassing. I'm gonna keep playing this.
Yeah.
Young, you believe you are invincible, especially if you're an athlete. Now, like I said, we've been athletes our whole life, Ocho. So you know how we think. Man, ain't nothing gonna happen to me.
Hold on. You gotta add the other element to it. Now, not only do you think you're invincible when you're an athlete, when you're a good athlete at that, you're in college, you're on top of the world. But this is the other element that makes it even that much more dangerous. Money. Now they got money.
Oh yeah.
Now they got money. So once you add the money to it, now you really feel you're invincible and you're not thinking right. You're not in your right state of mind. So some of the things that you do when you are young, driving fast, drinking, clubbing, having a good time, feeling that you are invincible in certain situations when normally in your right state of mind, when you're older and you're a little bit more experienced, you're not thinking about that stuff, But now you get to sit back, that your career,
and that's what it gets.
Your career might be over, huh?
No, I think it all depends. Maybe it's a first-time offense. He's young. I was just reading his report. I don't know if we're going to talk about it, that Henry Ruggs is eligible for parole in August of 26. He'll be 26 years of age. In a situation like this, Ocho, where they get you is that you fail to render aid. You fail to call.
We can hit this as well. Henry Ruggs actually got in the accident. This is not the same thing. Henry Ruggs got in the accident. And Henry Ruggs didn't leave. He was going 150 miles an hour, but he didn't leave. His car exploded, but he didn't leave the scene. Couldn't, obviously, and probably maybe he would have had he been able to leave the scene, but he didn't leave the scene. This kid left the scene. But again, I'm listening to this guy make excuses for this behavior. Like, this is unreal.
Because you have the definition of a crime is an act or a failure to act where there's a responsibility to act. You in this situation, you got a responsibility now. And he neglected his responsibility. Hey, call. Hey, man, even if you, Ocho, if you just call, now what you should have done is stop, try to call 911. Hey, what's your emergency? There's a serious car accident that happened, blah, blah, blah. I ain't telling you nothing. I'm gonna get me an attorney. I'm gonna call my attorney. As soon as I get the phone with you, I'm calling an attorney. Hey, man, there's this bad accident and I was involved. So I'm probably gonna keep my mouth shut, but I'm just letting you know. That's just thinking like that, just thinking. But in a situation like that, Ocho, guys, we got to just be smart. And I get it. I was young. I ain't finna sit here. I ain't finna beat the man up too much because I've done some things that I look back at it like, boy, woo. Boy, Mary Porter, no, she was a God-fearing woman and she laid some prayers down because ain't no way. So situations that I was in, a lot of stuff. I told y'all some of the situations. There's some situations then that, hey, Shannon go, hey, my casket go, hey, Ocho, they might have to have my casket on a forklift because all these stories that I'm gonna take with me gonna make it real heavy. My casket real heavy. Hey, some things you know what, Shannon? Just go on and take that with you. But guys, we just got to be careful. Come on, the family that lost loved one, and the injured parties. You know, your heart goes out and you empathize for them because this is something that could have been prevented. This is not a tire blew out, Ocho. You know what I'm saying? This is not a deer jumps out in the road or something like that. This was, and most accidents are human error. This was human error. And it could have been prevented. But like I said, Ocho, I've been young and I just feel bad because that's a heavy burden to bear, Ocho. To know, hey, that you call someone to have to get that knock on the door and tell them that family member ain't coming home. You responsible that's on you, bro. And so, guys, we just gotta be smarter and try not to put ourselves in those situations. Things are gonna happen, but accident. No, that's irresponsibility.
Yeah, most definitely. And one thing about it.
All right, I'm done there. He made some statements that are just. He said this was human error. This isn't human error. This is human recklessness and human negligence. There's a difference. Human error is Human error is I didn't see a stop sign or I didn't see a red light. Human error is I didn't see a stop sign, I didn't see a red light. I stopped too late and I rear-ended somebody. Human error, like, we have to define this because when you talk about human error, there's human error and then there's just flat out recklessness and negligence. What he did, what this young man did, Lacy did, allegedly did, was negligent and reckless. It was reckless. You're going 150 miles, you're going 100 plus miles an hour from what's been reported. You go in a no pass lane, you create an accident, and then you take off. That's reckless and negligent. That's not human error. You made a decision. You made a decision. Going 75 into 65 is whatever. When you're going 30 miles over the speed limit, which is what Shannon Sharpe did or more, you can be arrested for that, I believe. Or it might be 50 miles an hour. It might be 50. 35 in some states can get you arrested. Some states it's I know in Florida it's either 35 or I think it's 35 that can get you arrested. So if you're in a 65 and you're going 100, you can be arrested. I'm pretty sure of that. That's no longer human error. There's a lot of things that are human error, but then you have to compare what human error is. If you're defining it the same thing, there's recklessness and then there's this basic human error. You know, I'm not gonna beat him up too much. Then what are you gonna do? The first part of the video was worse when he's making a joke of how he got pulled over. Like, what the hell that has to do with this? I have absolutely no idea. But when you look at their outcome, a man died. A man died. Other people were hurt. And he's sitting here talking about, I'm not going to beat him up too much. This is actually when you have to beat him up. You have to beat him up. He has to be held responsible and accountable. Because if you don't hold him responsible and accountable right now, this thought process of, oh, I'm a young, you think you're untouchable and all that. He really will think he's completely untouchable. And his behavior will only get worse if somehow he does not face some level of consequence. Now, again, I don't know what that level of consequence actually is. I don't know the legality of what you can truly hold him accountable for. I'm not sure. And yeah, he should have pulled over, called it an accident, and called an attorney. Because at this point, he's already making a boatload of money at LSU. You lawyer up, you don't say a word. It's fine. But Shannon Sharpe, man, you have to have more sense in commentary on things like this. I mean, you get away with a lot. We all know this. This is something that is a real bad look when you're making jokes about a car accident that ended with a fatality. Not a good look, in my opinion. And from what I've read, he might be in hot water with ESPN. I doubt it. I doubt he probably was called. Maybe if anything, maybe he's called in and said, "Look, you cannot make those types of statements. Like, I know that was under your own banner, but you still represent ESPN. You represent ESPN everywhere you go." See, Shannon Sharpe may have his own podcast, but he represents ESPN everywhere he goes. And if there's behavior in their opinion that is detrimental to them, they could always terminate him. And I'm sure there's clauses in the contract that can let them escape without paying him any more money. But this is a real bad look, in my opinion. I mean, I love to know what people think about it because I just thought that was very classless and tactless. And Shannon Sharpe needs to do better. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments. This is Rudy's Rant, where we talk facts over feelings. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, hit that bell, leave a comment. Want to know what you think? Come on now.